What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Wedding Lens Lounge podcast. Excited that you are listening in today. I've got a really, actually, more of a unique guest on today's episode. Someone that actually isn't anything to do with weddings whatsoever. But what I'm really excited about is his wealth of knowledge in the realm of entrepreneurship, and he's got some great insight for anybody really from more of a general perspective in regards to how to really elevate your business based on just when you hit to certain stages of your career in your business. So I'm really excited about the things that he's going to be sharing, but first I would love for you, Kelan, to introduce yourself.
What's going on, Taylor? Thanks for having me on. Appreciate it. Kelan from The Savvy Couple. My wife and I started this business back in 2016. We're from Rochester, New York. We have two beautiful daughters, Kennedy, who's 3, and Callie, who's 5. We live right down the road from Taylor, so we get to go to church with him and work out and have built a really good friendship there.
Yeah. Love it. Love it. Yeah. Thanks for sharing that. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kelan's been a good buddy of mine now for a little while. And he's honestly also been someone that has been really like helpful in my entrepreneurial journey and someone that I've been able to like learn from a lot. So I really was excited about bringing him onto today's episode. Before we kind of get started into all the wisdom that he's going to share and all of his secrets to success, I want you all to know just a little bit more about what he does and even how he got there. So, Kelan, yeah, just share a little bit more about what the Savvy Couple is all about and the Savvy Mama, and what were the steps that really made you get there, and anything that you think would be valuable to share about that process.
Yeah. So we started The Savvy Couple back in 2016, like I mentioned. Then we kind of broke off into two businesses and split up, kind of just niche down a little bit and kind of better serve the audience. We're basically a content marketing business. So we write blog posts and we do YouTube videos. And our whole mission is to help families take control of their time and money, fast track their financial freedom, and create a life they love. So I'm all about, reaching back down, helping other entrepreneurs kind of grow their business, scale their business. And I love seeing, you specifically, Taylor, what you've been able to do in such a short period of time after quitting teaching is incredible. And it's been awesome to be a part of that journey as well. Back to content marketing, we basically write blog posts. We try to get them to rank in Google and YouTube, which I think in photography or editing, whatever it may be, you can really leverage these type of platforms, especially YouTube, to kind of build an audience and build your name. And then we make money through ads, display ads on our sites, affiliate marketing, which is kind of a tag keyword that we kind of like hear all the time is what affiliate marketing is. I can dig into that. Sponsorships, digital products, and then we also have a membership. So over the last, it's almost 7 years, 8 years, we've really been able to scale this thing to an awesome level. I can kind of dive into the journey of that as well.
Yeah, honestly, I've got so many questions for you, but
Yeah.
I would love for you to even share, like, what really got you into starting these businesses. What were you doing before this? What was your job? What was your life
Yeah.
like before you dove into being an entrepreneur?
Yeah. So I kind of always had the entrepreneur niche. I think the first time I realized I liked business was probably like 5 years old doing a lemonade stand. I was like, this is sweet. I'm selling lemonade and making some money.
OG,
And then like,
OG methods.
right through high school, I did a lot of drop shipping and flipping items on eBay. I did car washes. I was selling cell phone signal boosters to the faculty and staff at Churchville. So just always doing stuff in the entrepreneur kind
That's
of realm.
wild.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. But I went on a ride along when I was 15. It changed my life. I wanted to become a police officer. That was like my mission and my goal in life. So I went to school for business and finance because on the ride along they said, don't go for criminal justice. They're going to teach you everything you need to know in the academy. We want you to be well-rounded. Um, and then kind of jumped around job to job like a lot of entrepreneurs do and realized, working a 9 to 5 is not what I wanted to do. I hate other people controlling my time, telling me when to come in, forced overtime. So I worked as a jail deputy, my last job, and fell into like a really deep, dark depression, hated it, felt miserable,
And
felt lost, never got to see Brittany after we just got married. So it was a really, really rough time. And kind of came back to Jesus and kind of got saved. And he kind of opened my eyes to not being pessimistic to optimistic and seeing all the opportunity out there. And I just saw other people basically writing blog posts and becoming a content creator and making money. And I was like, well, if they can do that, I definitely can. I always had a lot of confidence in myself, business
Love
wise.
that.
So, yeah, we launched the site just based on family and friends always asking us about personal finance, saving money, being frugal, budgeting. So, kind of just answering those basic questions. And we did that for 9 months, didn't make a cent. And then on the ninth month, we made our first $50, which is the most life changing money I've ever made. And I went to Brittany 2 weeks later and I said, hey, I'm going to quit if you're okay with it and jump into this full time. And
Dang.
she blessed me with
That's
doing that. So
still wild to hear that, honestly.
yeah, it is pretty wild.
Well, I mean, you really got to think about like, imagine like, if you're married right now and you want to pursue a venture and you're like, yeah, I made $50 this month. I'm just gonna quit and, make this all happen. Like, really, if you really think about how like insane that sounds,
Yeah.
but like, what was your mindset at that point? Like, what did you feel like you really needed to do to ensure, like, okay, I'm quitting a stable job, even though it
Yep.
was like awful mentally? What were you, like, what did you have to put in to actually make sure like you were going to be able to support your family?
Yeah. So first of all, we didn't have any kids, so that was huge. Obviously, it would be much harder nowadays. I mean, as
Yeah,
you
that does
know.
help.
So we kind of timed that correctly, and then we were definitely like being very due diligent on paying off our student loan debt and making sure we didn't have any other consumer debt. That we saved up a big nest egg so that if I didn't make any money for 6 months, we'd be okay. I could find another job. So financially, we definitely made the right moves to reduce the risk as much as possible. And I knew with freelancing, there's tons of opportunities, even with photography, freelance photography, that like you can just find so much work so quickly, and it's out there. And once I quit, I was like, holy cow! Like a whole new world opened up of like how much money there really is to be made out there without a 9 to 5. Um, and then another step that I took to like prepare myself was kind of taking the mindset of like, what's the worst case scenario? The worst case scenario is I stay stuck at this 9 to 5 job as a jail deputy and hate my life forever. That was way more scary to me than being like, all right, we made $50. I'm going to figure out how to make this work. Let's do it full time.
Wow, dang, that's wild. Yeah, 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 dang. So, um, really at that point too, like you just knew you if you went all in, you were going to make it happen. Then,
Yeah. Yep.
yeah.
I didn't even really give myself a plan B. It was like this, I'm going to figure out how to make money online and have this time freedom that I'm desired after every job that I quit.
Yeah, there was really no going back. It was a non-negotiable. Like, I'm going to make this work. Yeah,
Yep. One
such
way
a
or
good
another.
mindset to have.
Yeah.
Dang. Yeah, and I love the point too that you made though that you were secure in your finances, like you had that emergency fund set aside to ensure that if we're gonna do this, like you know, worst case scenario, we have to dig into that, but you took the steps that you needed to make sure that
Yeah.
didn't even have to do much with that. So
Yep.
yeah, you went all in. I love that. Yeah, that's why I'm friends with this guy. People, he is motivated and inspiring, and you have to have people like that in your community
Appreciate that.
of
Yeah,
people.
I think
Yeah,
that's huge with just building a business and scaling it and just having other people around you. We just did a meetup with Taylor and a bunch of other local business owners, and it's so awesome to get so much energy and inspiration and motivation from other people that are doing business because it is very difficult and it gets lonely and it gets challenging and depressing and it's a roller coaster ride. But when you surround yourself with people that are like minded and motivating, inspiring you, everyone wins. So it's a huge thing to make sure you're a part of.
yeah, dude, it's so true. Yeah, yeah, like you said, isolation's just not good for you ever.
Yeah,
So, yeah, find those like-minded people. Yeah, and there's so much we could talk about that in general, but I've got I've got some other questions for you. I'm sure
yeah,
maybe I'll bring you back another time.
sure.
So now you said like there are so many different areas that you cover in regards to your business itself. Is that something you two do on your own, or like you do reach out to other people to help you with that?
As far as building the business and kind of what the team looks like.
Yeah, even like where you're at now. So it sounds
Yeah.
like you handle so many different things. Is that something you do on your own, just the two of you, or is this something that you've in a sense hired other people to help you with?
Yeah. So when we first started, it was definitely just us trying to figure it out and, in the grind it out phase. And I think business has different phases. Like the first phase is like, oh crap, what is going on? I'm just figuring things out. I'm trying everything I possibly can, and just grinding. And then it's kind of like, oh, this kind of works. I'm making a little money. And then it's like, holy cow, I'm making a lot of money. And then it's optimizing that even further and hiring people and leveraging their time. So, yeah, we started just ourselves. The first hire we ever had was a virtual assistant, and that was to basically take away the very low ROI tasks that, like sorting emails, that you can pay someone else to do, that you're going to earn more income doing the thing that you're the best at in your genius zone. Um, so I have a really good way for all entrepreneurs to kind of figure out what to outsource, when to outsource. There's a book I read, Work Less, Make More, and it's called the Eisenhower Chart, and it's just 4 quadrants. And on the top 2 boxes, there's urgent and not urgent, and on the side, it's not important and important. So you basically, for a month, have a Post-it note stack next to your office or wherever you work. Write down every task you do, whether it's checking email, reaching out to another client, shooting a wedding, networking, whatever it may be. Write down everything you do, and then you take those Post-it notes and you put them into one of those 4 quadrants, and then you easily see, okay, this is what I need to be doing more of. This is the stuff I need to decide on and figure out if I should be delegating it or outsourcing it. And then, yeah, same thing. If it's not important, it's not urgent, should you be outsourcing it? And then if it's in the not urgent, not important, should you delete it completely? Like, is it a complete waste of your time to be doing that task? And that really helped me visualize and see, okay, the stuff I'm really good at, Facebook ads, marketing, email marketing, managing people, that's the stuff I really need to focus my time and energy on, because that's my genius zone. And
Hmm.
everything else that I can outsource for half what I'm making hourly, I need to outsource that. And that kind of mindset was huge. And that's what really helped us scale how fast we did.
Yeah, that's good, man. So now, so you really talk about the importance of outsourcing, so you can focus big picture, and
Yep.
also even talking about like that you focus on the big tasks that you need to oversee as the business owner.
Yep.
Um, Now, I guess what advice would you give to somebody that is nervous to have to, in a sense, put that money up front, that they might be nervous to be like, I don't know, like I need this money. Like, what advice would you give somebody that really just needs to take that step but is nervous to do so?
Yeah. So in the book, Work Less, Make More, he talks about tracking your effective hourly rate. So I realized that once I was, above $50 an hour, I had some wiggle room to be like, all right, if I can find someone for $20 an hour to do, take 5 hours of my work away, and I can refocus that time back into the things that are, making me $300 an hour tasks, I can kind of leverage that and do that. So specifically for like photography, I think that it would be, finding out what is eating up your time and you're kind of wasting your effort and energy on. And I think one of the first hires is definitely a virtual assistant, to kind of just help you with scheduling or answering customer emails, sorting your email inbox, um, and kind of having that mindset of, okay, if I can free up my time, because time is our most valuable asset, if I can free up 5 hours of my time working with a virtual assistant, pay them $100, but that in turn lands me a wedding that just landed me $5,000. You just invested $100 to make 5,000, so you just basically
Yeah.
made $4,900. You kind of have to have that mindset.
Wow. Yeah, that's so true. That's like a really great way to even put it. Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
because I'm sure people love hearing that too, like
Yeah,
the opportunity for that. Yeah,
yeah,
because it's like almost that idea with opportunity cost that you might be, if you're not willing to outsource some of these tasks, there's only so much you can grow, and so you're losing out on so much opportunity with wealth building in your business, and even just to be able to elevate your business in general.
yeah. And I think the biggest thing is just start small, and you can't outsource until you've done the task or the project yourself, and you've created a good optimized system, like you've made it as fast and easy and simple as possible. And then, find a VA that does 5 hours a week or 2 hours a week, even, that's just kind of looking for a little extra work, and just test the waters and see if that's going to be a time saver. And a lot of times business owners were kind of egotistical on, oh, I can do it all myself, no one can do it as good as me, which I fall into that all the time. But the fact is, someone can definitely do it as good as you, if not better, if you train them and have the right systems in place. And then again, you can really free up your time to be working on the things that are going to drive the revenue and scaling.
Yeah, yeah, no, it's so true. What? So you said one of the first hires that you had was a virtual assistant, and So like, tell me a little bit more about like how that even just having that one person, like what that did for your business.
Yeah, it was huge because it allowed me to. So she started with just making Pinterest pins that I was kind of working an hour, probably an hour a day doing that because that's how we used to drive a ton of traffic. So that freed up 5 hours of my time right there. Um, and back in when we started, I think we were only paying $15 an hour, so it was pretty cheap. And then yeah, started doing email stuff, just figuring out the things that were time sucks or stuff that I sucked at, and there was no reason for me to be doing it because it was draining my energy. It was taking way too much time, and there's someone out there that can do it way better than I can, and again, can free up my time to work on the stuff that I'm awesome at.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. What a
And it,
turnaround.
yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
super important to, and I was against it for a long time, is track your hours as an entrepreneur. I know like
Mhm.
working 9 to 5s, you basically track your hours, checking in and out. Not all jobs are like that, but just being able to track your time and know what tasks you're working on and being able to say, okay, this month, this was my revenue, this is my profit, this is how many hours I worked, this is how much I'm effectively earning per hour I'm working in the business. Then you kind of look at those post-it notes and say, okay, sorting my email inbox, that's like a $10 an hour task. I need to be shooting a wedding where I'm making, thousands of dollars, or closing with clients and having those follow-up calls with clients that, are going to net me way more than $10 an hour. Um, and a tool for that, Toggle, is a free one. I use Be Focused. So there's tons of tools that you can use right on your computer, and I just basically click it, and I start when I start, and I end when I end, and it's huge tracking your time.
Yeah. So would you say it's even beneficial to like maybe even over 2 weeks see how much time you're spending on certain tasks and then even seeing like, if I can give up this amount of time, focus on this smaller, like lower level task, I can do this.
Yep, totally. And I think another thing with outsourcing and systems, I think you've done an awesome job with kind of your funnel and your system for, the first touch point with your client that's interested in getting their wedding shot by you, and then like a follow-up sequence where you're touching base with them via email, and then you have the call, and everything's like super optimized where it's not taking a lot of your time. So it's finding those things that are repetitive tasks that, you're going to meet with more clients. You're never going to stop meeting with clients. So that's something you should really optimize your time and system for. Same thing
Mhm.
with email, follow up, same thing with editing. Like find ways to save time because that's just as good as outsourcing if you can find better systems within your business.
Right. So being able to effectively manage that time and reduce it can also lead to a focus even on bigger projects that you all want to invest
Yep.
in as well.
Yep.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah.
And I think
No,
the key message that I want everyone to take away is like, if you want to scale your business or you're just starting to scale it up, um, it's all about systems. Systems scale your business. And that's everything. If you can have good systems in your business, you're going to be able to scale.
yeah. And those types of things take time to learn and figure out too. And it's okay to even, I mean, I always encourage people like reach out to somebody that has those systems in place and ask for their guidance on it, and because it's something where like it can be hard to figure out on your own, and that's going to just take more of your time. So if you're able to even ask somebody else for like help or guidance, like that can be a huge time saver, even if you have to pay for it, like that's okay. But if you can get somebody to really show you the way on how to do that, it's going to be a game changer for like the amount of time you spend on that week to
Yep.
week.
That's such a good point. And I've found too, like mentors or even those little networking that you do, meetups, like they are huge for figuring something out in your just in your business and finding a good solution. And yeah, I remember we didn't have any project management software back in the day. And I knew a blogger that was absolutely crushing it. They were making like $100,000 a month. I was like, I need to talk to this guy. And I
Yeah.
built a relationship with him and gave him value before I asked. And I'm like, hey, would you mind hopping on like a 20-minute call and showing me how you guys, set up your project management software with Asana? He's like, yeah, let's hop on a call. So he like showed me and it was like mind blowing. And I just saved myself months and months of time getting that system in place
Wow.
just by networking and finding a mentor.
Yeah. Yeah. Game
Yep.
changer. And you really could find those, just from word of mouth, like asking other people if they know of anybody. You can find them on social media, just do some searches.
Yep.
And even if you follow somebody that, just reach out to them. Sometimes people don't get back to you, and that's fine. It's going to happen, but you have to at least go for it.
Yeah.
Like at
And
least just
and
put in the effort.
Yeah, and like I said, like provide value first. Like if they're posting on social media, obviously follow them. Like every picture they have, comment for like 3 weeks so that they're your name's getting like up in their brain, and then
Mm,
ask for the ask, just so they know that you're into it and you're committed.
yeah, no, that is actually a really good point. So it really shows that you do value them, and yeah, and that'll even take a little bit of time, but it's still incredibly worth it. Taking
Yep.
really a minute a day to maybe like a few posts, comment on some of their stuff, and like you said, if you can get your name like more in their head, um, there I think there's just a lot more value in that as well. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah,
I
dude,
have a
so
I
good.
have a couple of notes here from before, but one thing I want to touch on outsourcing, just kind of a system for outsourcing,
Yeah,
is any task you're doing on a computer. The easiest way to outsource it, something that's repetitive that you want to have someone else take over, use like software like Loom. I think there's a free version. There might be. We have a paid version. I think it's $10 a month. But you basically just record yourself doing the task or doing the project, and then
interesting.
you hand it off to someone else and you say, hey, write out the steps that you see in this video on doing this task. And they'll write out the steps and then you can double check them. And then you literally have a system in place that you can hand the video and the written document off. And it's step by step how to do that task. So it's an easy way to outsource anything.
Wow. And then that way you don't even have to like keep retraining people if there
Yep.
is any type of turnover.
Yep. 100%.
Day. So it's called Loom, like Loom.
Yep. LOOM.
All right,
Yeah,
sweet.
that's a game changer for sure.
I'll have to keep that in mind for myself.
Yep. Yeah, and anything that
About to use that.
even if you're not planning on outsourcing it, at least if it's a system, like create a system for it, even for yourself, so that you have it documented. And if you ever do hire someone, it's already you have it in an Excel sheet. Here's the system. Here's the soft or the Loom video. Like it's already ready to roll.
Yeah, yeah,
Yep.
that's so good. Yeah. So another question in regards to outsourcing is, you know, like would you recommend that you have in a sense like consistency in your business, like with profit revenue coming in, and you feel like that you're confident enough to make that happen instead of just making the jump knowing that maybe that consistency in revenue is not there.
Yeah, I think it's just like personal finance. You want to have that little nest egg within your business. You want to have, that emergency fund that you can fall back on. I'm pretty sure you should have 3 to 6 months of, your business expenses within your business so that you can fall back if, times get rough. So yeah, I think you definitely want to be consistent. You definitely want to have some, idea of what you want help with within the business before you just, willy nilly hire someone. But at the same
Right.
time, when you're hiring a freelancer, they're not really expecting to have consistent long term work. A lot of them, they're single projects. And, if you can continue to feed them, more work and more income, they're going to stick around for a long time. So it's not as big of a commitment as a lot of people make it out to see or make it seem to be. But I think starting super small, having that nest egg, having some consistency in your business, and you're gonna again, there's phases. You're gonna like get to that point where you're starting to figure things out. You're making decent income, and it's like, man, I just don't have enough time in the day. And it's like, okay, how do I free up my time? Either better systems, or I need to get someone to outsource. And that's kind of the point where you're plateauing, and you're like, all right, it's time to hire someone and take a little bit of a risk, and hire someone for a month and see how it goes.
Yeah, absolutely. And now, how would you? I want you to speak a little bit on, understanding like what you're good at and what you truly just need to give up. Because personally, like I know I'm good with finances number. I've got a master's in business, and I could easily handle bookkeeping, but I just don't have time for it. But so, how would you find that balance in knowing like what you just need to give up, knowing that you can strive further in your business?
Yeah. So recently, within the last year, I've kind of had a decision matrix that is basically like, does this give me energy in the business or does this take my energy? Because if it's taking your energy, that's just as bad as taking your time because then you don't have the
Mm,
energy to do things you need to be doing. So bookkeeping, for instance, you might be able to do it. It sounds like you're not too much of a numbers guy and you wouldn't enjoy doing it. You wouldn't get energy doing it. Versus me, like I love going in every single day and punching in the numbers and like seeing the Excel sheet and seeing the profit versus the revenue. And so that like gives me energy. That's something I'll never give up. But other things like customer service and answering customers' emails that are complaining about their product not working or something drives me up a wall. So that's like something
Mm,
I totally was like, I'm not good at this. I don't have the patience for it. It sucks the energy out of me. I need to outsource this immediately. And that's, that's kind of the decision matrix that I use to figure out what I should be outsourcing. And then the stuff that is kind of like the top tier, I call it genius zone activities. That's kind of just really digging deep into yourself and knowing like what are things that only I can do that it would be very hard for someone else to replicate, or it would be very expensive to hire someone else to do. So
mm,
within photography, obviously shooting, editing, actually talking to the client and selling them on, hiring you for their photographer. Like that's all stuff that's super high ROI that you should never give up. And it's, your genius zone, especially you, Taylor. Um, but yeah, the other things that are more operational side of the business, you can definitely outsource a lot of that stuff.
yeah, yeah. Because, like I said, we've talked about before. Then the way you can really focus on your big goals for the year, your big picture ideas, and really just being able to like step back and see, where do I want my business to go, and what do I want my business to be like in 10 years, and what do I need to
Yep.
get there? And if you're always handling those small, ROI tasks. And ROI, if you don't know what that means, it's return on interest. So basically, like, how much time are you putting in and how much money are you making from that? If you're really just always having to handle all those things, you won't have the time to handle those big picture goals to really, expand and grow your business because you're stuck all the time and you're going to get burnt out from trying to handle it all too. So,
Yeah. Yep.
um,
You definitely
yeah,
get stuck in the weeds, and vision is everything with business and personal life. You gotta know where the end goal is, where you want to take your business in order to get there and kind of build the systems and the railroad tracks to get there. So it's really important to get out of the weeds once in a while and take a step back, take a vacation, and really think long term. Like, all right, 5 years, what would I need to do to make this much money? Because this would impact my family in this way, and give me more time freedom. And then reverse engineer how to get there.
yeah, dude, that's so good. It's so good. Is there anything else that you would want to give her as advice in regards to outsourcing in general?
Um, Covered a lot of it. I'm trying to think if there's anything else. I think something that we didn't touch on is just the importance of, and this is not really outsourcing, but the importance of continuing to learn and having that growth
Mm,
mindset. Um,
yeah.
we've had incredible success in our business and reached financial freedom very, young age and everything, but I'm constantly hungry for learning more, and I get so much energy networking with other people, reading books. I got a bunch behind me if you can't see. And just, picking up new business books and coming up with new ideas. And I'm always like to challenge myself in that way. Um, and I think that's super important to continue to scale and, really create a business that you want and is providing for your family.
Yeah, like almost never like plateauing. Like you're just
Yep.
hungry for more, and what can I do next, and how can I even create more financial freedom for your lifestyle in a way.
Yep. Yep.
Yeah, and a part of that is outsourcing, so that way you can make all of that happen. Like
Totally.
I really do think that outsourcing is so undervalued and not really talked about enough for especially small business owners to be able to really create a business that you want.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, Cal, I've got another question for you.
Sure.
Nothing to do with outsourcing. Uh,
Fire 'em away.
what is something like when you're not working on the savvy couple and your wife's not handling the savvy mama? What are some things that you all like to do together as a family, or maybe just with your wife, or you know anything
Yeah.
away from your family?
Yeah. Yeah.
Sometimes we need that for good reasons.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, so Brittany and I have worked together for 5 years now, and we spend every day, all day together. Callie is our oldest is at school now, so we just have Kennedy, so we're just soaking up that special time with her.
love that.
On the Savvy Couple, our slogan is family, finance, freedom in that order. Family comes first, and that's the whole reason we started this business and have put so much time and money into it to grow it. And then the finances is scaling your business and reaching financial freedom, having an impact with others, and then the last step of that is freedom. But so yeah, so tons of family time. We love to travel. That's what we spend our money on is having experiences over material things, and just having fun experiences. So we go camping a lot. I love to work out with Taylor, and we have a home gym, so we
And
invested into a home gym. Um, I like doing weekly sports with my guys, volleyball, floor hockey, basketball, connecting with others. I still play some video games here and there. But yeah,
Love
a
it,
lot of family time.
dude. So good. And it's really cool too because that was one of your, I feel like your biggest motivators was to be able to have a life that gave you more freedom to be able to do the things that you love and
Yep,
to hang out with the people that you love.
100%. Yep.
Yeah. So good. All right. So, if anybody would love to connect with you and just learn from you and maybe even invest in some of the resources that you have, where can we find you?
Yeah, so we are at The Savvy Couple on all social media platforms. I'd love for you to subscribe to our YouTube channel. If you go to our website, thesavvycouple.com or thesavvymama.com, we have starter guides there that you can download and get on our email list so we can stay connected.
Love it. Yeah, I'll be sure to put all that information in the show notes so that way if people want to connect with you and invest in some of these, incredibly helpful resources to even just help you with your personal life while you're juggling the life of being an entrepreneur and business owner. So,
Yep.
um, dude, Kellen, thank you so much for being on today's show. Thank you for all the insight and wisdom that you shared, especially in regards to outsourcing. And yeah, dude, it's just good to chat with you.
It was a pleasure, Taylor. Thank you so much.
Yeah, dude.